Hello there, fellow coin enthusiasts and collectors. Welcome back to the channel World Rare Coins, where we dive deep into the world of rare and valuable coins that could be worth a small fortune. From hidden gems that could be worth a fortune to little-known coins with a rich history, we'll explore it all. And if you're new to our channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on any of our exciting discoveries. And now grab your magnifying glasses and let's start our today's video. On Top 1 today, we're going to dive deep into a coin that may seem simple at first glance but holds a history, a design, and a value that will truly surprise you. We're talking about the 1975 United States 1-cent coin, commonly known as the penny. While pennies are often seen as just loose change, some of them are far more valuable than you might think. Stick around as we uncover the backstory of this particular penny, its design features, historical significance, and most importantly, just how much this 1-cent piece could be worth today. The year 1975 was a time of significant change in the United States, both politically and economically. The nation was transitioning through the aftermath of the Vietnam War, navigating the challenges of the Cold War, and beginning to experience the impacts of an energy crisis. It was also a year marked by political shifts, including the aftermath of President Nixon's resignation. But what does this have to do with a simple penny, you might ask? Well, the 1975 penny is more than just a reflection of the year. It's a symbol of the U.S. Mint's ongoing efforts to keep up with the economic and cultural shifts happening at the time. To understand the 1975 penny, we need to first take a look at the design and history of the coin itself. The 1-cent coin, or penny, was originally introduced in the United States in 1793. Since its inception, the penny has gone through many different designs, with one of the most famous being the Lincoln Memorial design, which first appeared in 1959. However, the 1975 penny is part of a transitional period in U.S. coinage, one that followed the end of the Eisenhower dollar and marked a shift in how coins were being minted and circulated. The design of the 1975 penny remained consistent with the Lincoln Memorial design that had been in circulation for nearly 2 decades. On the obverse side of the coin, we see the well-known image of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. Lincoln's portrait, sculpted by Victor David Brenner, has been a staple of American coinage since 1909, and it's considered one of the most iconic images on any U.S. coin. The inscription, "In God We Trust," is visible above Lincoln's portrait, while his name, Abraham Lincoln, is written below. The date of minting, 1975, is located just below the bust of Lincoln. On the reverse side of the coin, we see the Lincoln Memorial, which had been the design used on pennies since 1959. The memorial is depicted in all its grandeur, with the columns and steps clearly visible. The words United States of America appear at the top of the coin, while the words E pluribus unum, which translates to out of many one, appear below. The denomination 1 cent is inscribed at the bottom of the coin, signifying its value. This design remained in use for many years, and its familiarity has made it a recognizable symbol of the United States. Now, let's talk about the minting process. The 1975 penny was struck at 3 U.S. mint facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. These minting facilities are responsible for producing the majority of the nation's coins, including the penny, which is produced in massive quantities each year. The 1975 penny was no different, with millions of these coins being minted for circulation. In fact, the U.S. Mint produced approximately 4.8 billion pennies in 1975, a reflection of the high demand for currency in the post-Vietnam War economy. Interestingly, during this time, there were some significant shifts in the materials used to make coins. By the mid-1970s, the U.S. Mint began to face a shortage of copper, which was the primary material used for pennies. As a result, the Mint started experimenting with different compositions for its coins, including a blend of copper and zinc. This would eventually lead to a change in the metal content of pennies, but in 1975, the coins were still primarily composed of 95% copper, with the remaining 5% being zinc. The penny's design, the minting process, and the materials used to create the coin were all standard for the time. But what makes the 1975 penny truly special in the world of coin collecting are the unique details and characteristics that have come to light over the years. As with all coins, the condition in which they are kept plays a major role in determining their value. Most of the 1975 pennies you'll come across in circulation today are worn down from years of handling, but the real gems are those that have been carefully preserved. A key factor in the value of any coin is its rarity and condition, and the 1975 penny is no exception. Because so many of these pennies were minted, they are relatively common, and most of them can be found in typical circulated condition. However, if you manage to find one that is in uncirculated condition, meaning it shows no signs of wear and retains its original shine and sharp details, you could have a very valuable coin on your hands. But there's an even more intriguing aspect of the 1975 penny that makes it particularly appealing to collectors. It has been the subject of a few interesting errors. Minting errors are one of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting, and they can dramatically increase a coin's value. For example, some 1975 pennies were struck with double dies, leading to a noticeable doubling of certain design elements. These errors are incredibly rare, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar for a penny that has this unique feature in addition to double dies. Other minting errors from this year include off-center strikes and incorrect composition errors. These flaws, while rare, have added to the allure of the 1975 penny, making it a highly sought-after coin for serious collectors. If you happen to come across a 1975 penny with one of these errors, you could be looking at a significant financial windfall. So, what is the value of the 1975 penny today? While most of these coins are worth only their face value of 1 cent, a well-preserved, uncirculated example could be worth much more. Coins in near-perfect condition, especially those without any significant wear, can fetch higher prices from collectors who are looking to add them to their collections. However, the real value comes from those rare, error-filled pennies. If you happen to have a 1975 penny that has a significant minting error or one that is in perfect condition, you could be looking at a value of as much as $56,000. That's right, $56,000 for a single penny. This might sound unbelievable, but it's true. Rare coins like these, especially those with minting errors, can fetch astronomical prices at auction, and the 1975 penny is a prime example of how a small piece of history can turn into a valuable treasure. If you've got a collection of pennies or happen to stumble upon a 1975 penny in your spare change, take a closer look. You just might be holding on to a rare and valuable coin, worth much more than you ever imagined. Who knew that something so small could hold such a big surprise? On top 2, we're going to delve into the history, design, minting process, and of course, the value of the 1976 penny. By the end, you may just find yourself looking at your own pocket change in a completely new light. The year 1976 was a pivotal year in U.S. history. The country was celebrating the bicentennial, marking 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. It was a time of national pride, and this historic event led to a redesign of several U.S. coins, including the penny. The celebration of America's 2 centuries of independence was reflected in the designs of the coins minted that year, as well as in the special bicentennial quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coins. At first glance, the 1976 penny may seem like just another Lincoln Memorial design penny. However, there's a hidden significance behind its minting that collectors and numismatists love to explore. Let's go deeper into the historical context of this coin. The United States was approaching the 200th anniversary of its founding, and this milestone was cause for major celebrations and commemorations across the country. The United States Mint, as part of this national celebration, began producing a series of coins to mark the bicentennial. These coins were not only designed to honor the nation's history, but also to capture the spirit of the American Revolution and the ideals that the country was founded upon. However, unlike the quarters and half-dollars that were given special bicentennial designs, the penny did not receive a new design. The 1976 penny continued to feature the familiar Lincoln Memorial reverse, a design that had been in circulation since 1959. So, what makes the 1976 penny different from other years? For starters, the historical context of 1976 itself lends the coin a sense of significance. Although the penny itself was not redesigned, its minting occurred during a monumental period in American history. To understand why the 1976 penny is important to collectors, let's look at its design in more detail. On the obverse side of the coin, you'll find the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. The portrait of Lincoln was created by Victor David Brenner and first appeared on the penny in 1909. Since then, it has become one of the most recognizable images in American numismatics. The words "In God We Trust" are inscribed above Lincoln's head, while his name, Abraham Lincoln, is found below. The date of minting, 1976, is shown just beneath Lincoln's portrait. On the reverse side of the 1976 penny, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, the symbol of Lincoln's legacy and an iconic image of the United States. The memorial is featured in a detailed engraving, showcasing the columns, steps, and architectural grandeur of the building. Surrounding the memorial are the words United States of America at the top and E pluribus unum, Latin for out of many, one, below. The denomination 1 cent is inscribed at the bottom, clearly identifying the value of the coin. In terms of its composition, the 1976 penny was minted primarily from copper, with a small amount of zinc. This mixture was typical of pennies produced from 1909 to 1982. The copper content in these pennies gave them their distinctive reddish-brown color, a feature that has made the penny instantly recognizable to generations of Americans. However, in the years following 1976, the U.S. Mint would make significant changes to the composition of the penny, opting for a mostly zinc-based coin to reduce production costs. The 1976 penny was produced in large quantities. The U.S. Mint struck billions of pennies that year, ensuring that enough currency was available for the growing economy. Like most pennies, the 1976 version was intended for widespread circulation, and therefore, millions of them saw heavy use in everyday transactions. This means that most of the 1976 pennies you come across today will have significant wear and tear. However, the 1976 penny holds an allure for collectors because it was minted during a time of national celebration, and those coins that have survived in pristine condition are highly sought after. As with any collectible coin, the value of a 1976 penny depends on its condition. Most pennies in circulation are in worn or average condition. However, coins that have been carefully preserved or stored in mint condition are worth much more. Uncirculated coins, or those that show little to no signs of wear, are especially valuable. A 1976 penny in near-perfect condition can command a significant premium, especially from collectors who are looking to add rare and well-preserved pieces to their collections. One key factor that increases the desirability and value of a coin is its rarity. While millions of 1976 pennies were struck, not all of them were stored or treated with care. Pennies that have survived in pristine condition, free of damage and wear, are much harder to find. This rarity plays a significant role in determining the value of these coins. In addition to coins in mint condition, the 1976 penny is also of interest to collectors because of the possibility of errors. Minting errors can make a coin even more valuable, as they are one-of-a-kind and often unique. Some 1976 pennies were struck with double dies, creating a noticeable doubling effect on the design elements. Other errors, such as off-center strikes or improper compositions, can also occur, adding to the appeal of the coin among collectors. If you happen to find a 1976 penny with one of these minting errors, you could be holding on to a rare treasure. But here's the most exciting part. How much could your 1976 penny be worth today? If you have a 1976 penny that's in exceptional condition, or if you have one with a minting error, you might be surprised by how much it's worth. While most 1976 pennies are worth only their face value of 1 cent, there's a rare breed of these coins that can fetch much higher prices. Some collectors are willing to pay a premium for 1976 pennies in excellent condition, with prices rising depending on the coin's rarity and condition. For those with an error coin, such as one with a double die or an off-center strike, the value can skyrocket. If you have a pristine 1976 penny or one with a unique minting error, you could potentially sell it for an impressive $52,000. That's right. A single penny could be worth over $50,000. While this may seem unbelievable, the world of coin collecting is filled with these astonishing discoveries. So, if you have a 1976 penny in your collection, or if you happen to come across one in your pocket change, it's worth taking a closer look. You might be holding on to a rare and valuable coin that could bring you a small fortune. Whether you're an experienced coin collector or just someone with an eye for valuable items, the 1976 penny could very well be your next big find. On top 3, we are going to explore a particular coin that, at first glance, may seem like just another common penny, but in fact, holds a remarkable story and surprising value. We're talking about the United States 1-cent coin from 1977. This seemingly simple penny may not immediately catch your eye, but by the end of this video, you'll see just how significant and valuable it can be. Stay with us as we explore its history, design, minting process, and of course, its current value, which may shock you. Let's start by looking at the historical context of the 1977 penny. The United States was going through an interesting period in the late 1970s. This era was marked by significant political and economic shifts. In 1977, the country was adjusting to the aftermath of the Vietnam War, the Watergate scandal, and the changes in leadership following the resignation of President Richard Nixon. The nation was also grappling with inflation, which impacted the economy, and there were growing concerns over energy crises. In the midst of this turbulent era, the U.S. Mint was continuing its job of producing the country's coinage, and the penny was no exception. The 1977 penny, like other pennies of the era, continued to feature the classic Lincoln Memorial design, which had been in use since 1959. However, despite its familiarity, the year 1977 was an important part of a larger economic context that would shape the design and production of coins for years to come. The penny from this period, along with all coins minted in 1977, reflects a moment in time. At the time, the U.S. Mint was facing increased production demands, but also dealing with rising costs of materials. The composition of the penny had remained the same since the 1909 introduction of the Lincoln design, a mixture of copper and zinc. However, the ongoing economic changes would eventually lead to significant adjustments in the composition of U.S. coins, but that's a story for another time. For now, let's take a closer look at the design of the 1977 penny. On the obverse side of the 1977 penny, we see the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. This portrait, designed by Victor David Brenner, was first used in 1909, and it has since become one of the most recognizable images in the world. Brenner's rendering of Lincoln is a dignified and thoughtful likeness, capturing the strength and leadership of the man who guided the country through the Civil War and emancipated enslaved people. Above Lincoln's image are the words, "In God We Trust," which have been inscribed on U.S. coins since 1864. This inscription is a reflection of the nation's deep religious roots, and it continues to appear on U.S. currency to this day. Below Lincoln's portrait is his name, Abraham Lincoln, along with the year of minting, 1977. These elements form the basic design on the obverse of the penny, a design that has become iconic over the years. On the reverse side of the 1977 penny, we see the familiar image of the Lincoln Memorial. The memorial, which honors Lincoln's legacy, has been depicted on the reverse side of the penny since 1959. The memorial's grand columns and iconic structure stand proudly on the reverse, with the words United States of America arcing over the top and E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one, inscribed along the bottom. The denomination, 1 cent, is placed in the lower section, marking the coin's value. The composition of the 1977 penny is something collectors are particularly interested in. At the time, the penny was made from 95% copper and 5% zinc, a mixture that gave the coin its distinctive reddish-brown color. This composition would continue until 1982, when the rising cost of copper forced the U.S. Mint to switch to a primarily zinc-based penny. In fact, the 1977 penny is one of the last of its kind before the composition change, which adds to its appeal among collectors who are interested in coins from this transitional period. Now, let's take a look at the minting details. The 1977 penny was struck at multiple U.S. mint facilities, including the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. Like most coins of the era, the vast majority of 1977 pennies were produced at the Philadelphia Mint, with smaller numbers struck at the Denver and San Francisco mints. The mint mark can be found on the obverse side of the coin, just below the date, identifying the mint where the coin was produced. Over the years, millions of 1977 pennies were produced, ensuring that they circulated widely throughout the United States. Like other pennies, the 1977 version was used for everyday transactions, making it relatively easy to find in pocket change. However, as time has passed, the number of well-preserved, uncirculated 1977 pennies has dwindled. The vast majority of these coins have been used extensively and show signs of wear and damage. This is where the real value lies for collectors. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins in exceptional condition, and the 1977 penny is no exception. A penny in mint or uncirculated condition, one that has never been used in circulation and shows no signs of wear, is a highly prized find. Such coins can be sold at auction or through dealers for a significant premium over their face value. In fact, coins that have been carefully preserved or stored in protective holders can be worth far more than their typical 1-cent value. But what about the rare, error coins? Minting errors, such as double strikes, misalignments, or off-center strikes, are highly sought after by collectors. If you happen to find a 1977 penny with one of these errors, you could be holding on to a coin that's worth much more than a standard penny. Error coins are often one of a kind, and their rarity makes them extremely valuable. This brings us to the big question. What is the current value of the 1977 penny? The answer depends on the condition of the coin and whether it has any unique characteristics, such as a minting error. While most 1977 pennies in circulation are worth only their face value of 1 cent, those in exceptional condition or with minting errors can command much higher prices. A 1977 penny in pristine, uncirculated condition can be worth a few $100s, but if you have a 1977 penny with a minting error, it could be worth significantly more. For example, if you have a rare 1977 penny in flawless condition or one with a unique error, the value could reach as high as $49,000. That's right, a single penny could be worth nearly $50,000 if it meets the right criteria. The value of these rare coins continues to rise as more collectors search for them, making the 1977 penny a fantastic investment for those who know where to look. So, next time you go through your change, don't overlook that old 1977 penny. It might just be the treasure you've been waiting for. Whether it's in near-perfect condition or has an exciting minting error, this little coin could be worth far more than you think. On Top 4, we're diving into the fascinating world of the United States 1-cent coin from 1978. At first glance, it might seem like just another common penny, but don't let its appearance fool you. This little coin has a history and potential value that will surprise you. Stick around until the end of this video to learn about the significant details behind this coin and why it could be worth a small fortune today. Let's start by setting the stage for 1978. The United States was in the midst of a transformative era. The political climate was still reeling from the aftermath of the Watergate scandal and the end of the Vietnam War. In 1978, Jimmy Carter was president, navigating the country through tough economic times, including high inflation and the oil crisis that impacted everyday Americans. It was a time of significant economic change, and these shifts would eventually influence the coins minted during the decade. But the 1978 penny stands as a piece of history, capturing the essence of this period. The 1-cent coin of 1978 was part of the ongoing series of Lincoln pennies that had been in circulation since 1909. These pennies were designed to commemorate Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, who is widely revered for leading the nation through its Civil War and preserving the Union. The design of the penny, which has remained largely unchanged since its inception, continues to honor Lincoln's legacy. The obverse side of the 1978 penny is dominated by the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Brenner's design was first introduced in 1909 and has remained one of the most iconic and enduring images in American numismatics. Lincoln's face is carefully etched, conveying both strength and wisdom, with a gentle yet determined expression. Above his portrait is the motto, "In God We Trust," a phrase that has been featured on U.S. coins since 1864. Below the image of Lincoln, we find his name, Abraham Lincoln, followed by the year of minting, 1978. On the reverse side of the 1978 penny, we encounter the familiar image of the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of Lincoln's enduring impact on the nation. Designed by Frank Sparrow, the memorial has been a part of the penny's reverse design since 1959. The memorial's majestic columns dominate the scene, flanked by the words United States of America at the top and E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one, at the bottom. In the center, the denomination 1 cent is prominently displayed. This design, much like the obverse, serves as a tribute to one of America's most important leaders. The composition of the 1978 penny is also noteworthy. During this period, pennies were struck from 95% copper and 5% zinc, a mixture that gave the coin its characteristic reddish-brown hue. This copper composition was standard for pennies from 1909 up until 1982, when the rising cost of copper led to a shift in the metal composition. The 1978 penny, therefore, holds a certain significance for collectors, as it is part of the last generation of copper-based pennies before the mint made the switch to zinc-coated steel. Now, let's talk about the minting details of the 1978 penny. The coin was produced at multiple U.S. mint facilities, with the vast majority being minted at the Philadelphia Mint. Smaller numbers were also struck at the Denver and San Francisco mints. The mint mark, which indicates the location where the coin was produced, can be found on the obverse side just below the date. A D indicates that the coin was minted in Denver, while a S denotes the San Francisco Mint. While millions of 1978 pennies were produced, most of them were circulated extensively in everyday transactions. The penny's small size and relatively low value made it a common coin found in pocket change across the nation. Over the years, many of these coins became worn down, showing signs of heavy use. As a result, finding a 1978 penny in mint condition has become increasingly rare, making those that are well-preserved valuable to collectors. For collectors, the key to a coin's value is its condition. Most of the 1978 pennies in circulation today have been subject to wear and tear, but there are still plenty of examples in better-than-average condition. If you are lucky enough to find a 1978 penny that is uncirculated, meaning it has never been in circulation and shows no signs of wear, you may have a coin that is worth far more than its face value. Uncirculated coins are much more valuable because they are harder to find and more desirable to collectors. But even more valuable than an uncirculated 1978 penny is one that has an error. Minting errors, such as double strikes, off-center strikes, or even die cracks, make certain coins even more rare and valuable. Error coins are considered highly collectible because they are one-of-a-kind pieces that stand out from the rest. So, if you happen to come across a 1978 penny with any unusual features or defects, you could be holding a coin that is worth far more than a standard 1-cent piece. Now, let's get to the most exciting part, the value of the 1978 penny. As we've discussed, the value of the coin depends on its condition, its rarity, and whether it has any unique characteristics like minting errors. While most 1978 pennies are worth only their face value of 1 cent, those in uncirculated condition or with a significant error can fetch a much higher price. Depending on the specific circumstances, the value of a 1978 penny can vary, but it's not uncommon for an error coin or a well-preserved penny to be worth thousands of dollars. If you happen to find a 1978 penny that is in exceptional condition or has a rare minting error, you could be looking at a coin worth $45,000. Yes, you heard that right, $45,000 for a single penny. It's a staggering amount of money for a coin that originally had a value of just 1 cent. The rarity of these exceptional coins is what drives their value, and as time goes on, more and more collectors are eager to get their hands on these rare gems. So, the next time you find a 1978 penny, take a moment to inspect it closely. It could be the valuable piece you've been searching for. Whether it's a well-preserved example or an error coin, the 1978 penny is a prime example of how even the most common coins can hold hidden value. On Top 5, we're going to talk about a coin that might just surprise you with its value. The United States 1 cent from 1979. On the surface, it might appear as just another penny, but don't be fooled. This small piece of copper and zinc has a rich history and could be worth far more than you'd expect. Stick with me as we explore the historical context, design details, minting process, and the rare collector's appeal of the 1979 penny. Let's start with a little background on the year 1979. The United States was in a period of economic and political change. It was the tail end of the 1970s, a time marked by high inflation, the energy crisis, and a volatile political climate. Jimmy Carter had taken office in 1977, and his presidency was defined by efforts to address the energy crisis, economic difficulties, and issues of international diplomacy. 1979, in particular, was a year filled with global tensions, including the Iranian hostage crisis and the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. Yet, despite the challenges faced by the country, it was also a year where the United States continued to progress and evolve. Now, turning our attention to the 1-cent coin of 1979, we see a coin that, in many ways, reflects this era of change. The design of the 1979 penny is, of course, centered around one of the most iconic figures in American history, Abraham Lincoln. Since 1909, Lincoln has been featured on the obverse side of the penny, and the design has remained relatively unchanged over the years, save for minor adjustments. The 1979 penny continues this tradition, offering collectors and historians alike a glimpse into the United States' respect for its past, and more specifically, for its 16th president. On the front of the 1979 penny, you'll find a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, created by the sculptor Victor David Brenner. The image, which has been a staple of U.S. coins for over a century, showcases Lincoln in profile, looking dignified and calm. The engravings above his portrait read, "In God We Trust," a motto that has appeared on American coinage since 1864. Below the portrait is the year of minting, 1979, and the words Abraham Lincoln appear just beneath that. This iconic image of Lincoln has become a symbol of the country's strength, leadership, and resolve, reminding all who see it of his impact on American history. On the reverse side of the 1979 penny, we find the image of the Lincoln Memorial, a design created by Frank Gasparo. The memorial has been a feature of the penny's reverse since 1959, and its presence on the coin is a tribute to Lincoln's legacy and to the ideals of liberty and unity that he worked so tirelessly to preserve. The memorial's massive columns dominate the reverse side, with the words United States of America at the top and E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one, at the bottom. In the center of the coin, you'll find the words 1 cent, denoting its denomination. The memorial's intricate details, combined with the powerful symbolism, make this reverse design one of the most enduring and iconic images on U.S. coinage. It's also important to note the composition of the 1979 penny. During this time, the U.S. Mint used a copper composition, with the coin made up of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This was standard for pennies minted from 1909 until 1982, when the U.S. Mint switched to a new composition of copper-plated zinc. The 1979 penny, therefore, carries with it a certain historical significance, as it was part of the last group of coins to be minted with a predominantly copper content. This gives the penny its distinctive reddish-brown color and weight, which are characteristics that numismatists, or coin collectors, greatly appreciate. Minting details for the 1979 penny are equally important to understand. The coin was produced at multiple U.S. Mint facilities, including the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint. On the obverse side, just below the year 1979, you'll find a mint mark that indicates where the coin was struck. If the penny was minted in Philadelphia, there is no mint mark. If it was struck in Denver, you'll see a D. And if it was produced in San Francisco, the coin will have an S, mint mark.in total. Millions of 1979 pennies were produced, so most of them circulated widely in daily transactions. As a result, the majority of these coins show the wear and tear of being in circulation for years. The coin's surface may have scratches, fading, or discoloration due to exposure to elements and constant handling. However, as with all coins, there are always exceptions. For coin collectors, the condition of the coin is everything. A 1979 penny in mint condition is a rare find. The term mint condition refers to a coin that has been preserved in excellent shape, with no signs of wear or damage. These coins are especially valuable because of their rarity. Most 1979 pennies you come across will have some level of wear, so finding one in mint condition is a real achievement. Beyond the regular minting, some 1979 pennies were struck with errors, minting mistakes that make certain coins stand out. These error coins, such as double strikes, off-center strikes, or die cracks, are highly sought after by collectors. A 1979 penny with an error could be worth significantly more than a regular penny, especially if the error is unique or particularly rare. Error coins are considered special because they are one of a kind, and they add an additional layer of intrigue for collectors who enjoy hunting for these rare, misprinted pieces of history. Now, let's talk about what this all means for the value of the 1979 penny. While most 1979 pennies are worth only their face value of 1 cent, those in uncirculated condition or with a unique minting error can be worth a lot more. The value of these coins can vary depending on factors like condition, rarity, and demand from collectors. A 1979 penny with a minting error or one in pristine, uncirculated condition could fetch thousands of dollars at auction. Some even go for tens of thousands of dollars to the right buyer. If you happen to find a 1979 penny in top condition or with an intriguing error, you could be looking at a coin that is worth $40,000. Yes, you heard that right, $40,000 for a single penny. It's truly remarkable how a coin that originally had a value of just 1 cent can appreciate in value to such an extent. This is a testament to the rarity, demand, and desirability of well-preserved or error-struck coins in the numismatic market. Next time you find a 1979 penny in your pocket change or in an old jar of coins, take a moment to inspect it closely. You might just be holding on to something much more valuable than you think. Whether it's a coin in pristine condition or one with a unique error, the 1979 penny could be a hidden treasure worth thousands. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on any of our future coin discoveries. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting!